You see what you're doing outside? The old folks.
The cord, yeah.
I wasn't know start doing it.
Criminals.
They're fucking mates.
Ireland's biggest crime gang. On guard the sheep. On guard the sheep.
Landlord. We're here to let him know that we're not going anywhere, man.
I wonder though, man. Where these people in fucking house and they're through their fucking doors.
Destroying our community.
These are doing such a nothing, they're doing a very fucking
Putting our children at risk.
Take them in your area, man.
I'm sure we could not invest and have a conversation.
What's the reality? Invest on
Yeah, but I'm sure we could not start that and then have a conversation.
Sorry, but look at the dog.
They're only doing their job.
There's no, I'm not going to get arrested on that. Hold on, wait a minute.
You should be ashamed of this fucking self standing there. Look at armed and armed. I will protect the multi-millionaire, he'll fix us up.
Here we are, folks. Back at Mel Sutcliffe's house today. Again.
Yeah,
Right?
only the guilty need.
There's only 6 bypass residents in the whole of Dublin 4. Only 6 out of thousands. And yet they're all put in their communities. Clondalkin, Tallaght, Ballymun, Coolock, East Wall. This is the man that's causing it. But he won't take any of his buildings. These buildings are compared to the tenements in the 1900s. That's what they're like, what these people are living in, the conditions. You look on Grafton Street, people getting fed, homeless people getting fed. But he won't use that building on Kildare Street to house anybody because he don't want it right beside the door. There's a big empty building there and he could use that to feed people. You don't see anybody from the left parties coming out saying anything about it. They don't even want to mention it. They want the likes of Mel to ruin their communities. He doesn't care and he thinks that he can try to stop us.
And this is your private police security. Protecting them. The taxpayer pays for.
He's destroying them. He doesn't care. He's 400 properties. Loads in Dublin 4. And he's an art collection, this man. Look at him. Look at this.
That's how all the millionaires shift their money around through the yard.
Well, and he can contribute to sending the police to people's homes. Because when you're that wealthy, they're all in cahoots with the politicians.
There's
and
two
the
of them
police.
there now with
And
them.
can we say that? No, they're trying to drown those out. They tried to get their friends on Twitter to shut down their Twitter accounts for freedom of speech with the hate speech laws. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of the working class. We go to work all our lives to have a safe community for their kids. We mind our business. We just go to work. Well, not anymore. My kids and all the kids, these people's kids, are going to have a future. They're going to have the same childhood that we had. Take the men on this area, in all Dublin 4, all the empty buildings. I did it in the documentary, the old Ellen Park building, the old hospital. There's loads of empty buildings in Dublin 4 and they all say nothing about it because it won't affect their areas. But they'll push them in where you can't get a doctor's appointment. There's an ambulance outside that East Wall building every second night. Every second to third night there's an ambulance outside it. They're draining our resources. People know how long when they have a heart attack or they have a problem, how long they're waiting on an ambulance. But there seems to be one there every night. So they're getting treated better than the Irish people. What about the Irish homeless people? All homeless people. Look at Mount Street. There's loads of homeless on Mount Street, yet there's loads of empty buildings. And you don't see the left demanding that they put it in them buildings. They want to dump them all like the new one in Drumcondra. Just keep dumping them all into working class areas. But not anymore, Mel. We're calling you out. All we're asking you is come out and talk to us instead of hiding behind your office with your billions. Come out and talk to us. Talk to the people. Just because you're rich, doesn't mean that we can't come here and call you out.
That you're going to be able to protect them.
4 years on the housing list.
Do you think that you're going to be able to stand on someone that's going to lessen a child? That you're going to fucking save them? And it's all down to you to protect them. That's the reason why these are all here. And he's a government. It's another crime going on.
It's amazing. It's amazing how you can come up here on Grosvenor Road. There's loads of guards, special guard cars. In their areas when you ring the police, they take 3 hours to come, 4 hours to come. People waiting. We're up here, Mel's well safe in his big rich area. He won't have any problems up here. It's time to start putting their people first. There's 12,000 people homeless.
Up as well.
Yeah, there's 12,000 Irish people homeless, over 12,000. It's time to look after our own people. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Here people deserve to be housed. They're waiting donkey's years. This is not a new thing, it's just getting worse. And what does our government do? They bring in 100,000 people. People that have no passports, no documentation. And we're told, just get on with it. Not anymore. No way.
And then the police turn on us.
Never accepted.
They're turning on their own people. That you're great to take the wages off for fucking years. They're still out paying their wages every week.
Just give you a view of the street there. Grosvenor Road. How you doing? It's funny, I was just thinking earlier on that the ship, the submarine that sank, there's a couple of interesting parallels. In 1898, a gentleman called Morgan Robertson wrote a book called Fatality and Wreck of the Titan. It was about a ship that struck an iceberg in its maiden voyage. How about that? And yet the real event, Titanic, took 2012. Just to give you an idea how actually big the Titanic was, it was 882 feet long. It had 3 propellers. They were 23 feet in diameter and weighed 38 tons. Imagine that, which is 3 times the weight of the Bell at Big Ben. And it had 29 boilers. Now the Titanic actually hit the iceberg at 23 miles an hour. Now the fastest Atlantic crossing was by a ship called the USS United States, which set a speed record of 41 miles an hour.
His money won't save him then.
You'll never see a hearse with a tow bar.
Honest debate and not these guys here.
No, that's
Challenge Leo.
we have to challenge them all,
We're asking for a debate. We need a debate.
Any politician,
I want to say stop paying your TV license. I put on my page and everybody's agreeing, so I'm going to start.
put a challenge
Stop
out there.
paying the TV license and shut our propaganda station down.
UAE, right? They explained to me about demography, right? So demography means that when the indigenous people are the minority, it's game over because Irish people cannot afford to have children. They probably don't have mortgages down cards, and they cannot afford to have big children. And we're bringing in people to have 6 to 8 children. So we will be the minority, and we will be bred out and gone. Now that doesn't happen to the Palestinians, as it shouldn't. It doesn't happen to the Israelis, because Israel is a Jewish state for Jewish people. Palestine is a Palestinian state for Palestinian people, mostly Muslim people, right? Some Christians. Now, we are a state for Irish indigenous people, like the Maoris of New Zealand. But we are being ethnically cleansed from the land. There's 38,000 NGOs in Ireland who are dedicated to making us extinct. Yes, there's 80 NGOs who go to work Monday to Friday looking for racists in Ireland. But there's not one NGO for Indigenous Irish people.
And why do you think they want to?
Yeah, because we want to be able to buy a house, like them Gardas, like me. We want to be able to own their own property. We want to be able to send our children to a good school and rise through society. There's the thing called the 39th Amendment coming out, right? It's to delimit your right to property. The referendum is meant to be for this year, right? So if that's passed, so I own the house, right? I used to own 2 houses, right? So what that means is that my second home will be taken off. I went to work abroad for that house, right? So even though I only own 1 house, I'm a bachelor. So to delimit your right to property is to take the home away from you. And that's in the referendum. And it keeps on mentioning residents. A resident is not a citizen of Ireland. You're the citizen of Ireland, they're citizens of Ireland with those cards, right? A resident is a non-citizen of Ireland. And they're taking away citizens' rights and giving them to residents' rights. So that's doing away with the right to own private property. And all that man there is intimately involved in it. Because, yes,
or with our
Yeah, but it's the house, so that they will profit people like.
And that's why they're trying to take the money.
So here, I'll give you another example, right? I'll give you another example. I lived in West Africa, right? There's people employed there to stop illegal aliens getting on a plane to Luton every day. It's direct flights, okay, from Freetown, right? If one gets through, the airline gets fined 5,000 English pounds, right? Nobody gets through, right? The customs will not let them through. So the Irish Airlines are people traffickers. They're bringing them into Ireland, right? Because when you get on the plane, you show your documents, and they have copies of them. So they're bringing them in with Ryanair. So the state, when they come to Ireland, they say we're looking for refugee status from Georgia, who's a holiday destination, or anywhere, right? Climate change, any nonsense, right? So then the security people at Dublin Airport and the Gardaí take a step back. So then they're allowed into Ireland. So they're facilitating crime. Because when you come to Ireland and don't show your passport, that's called illegal aliens under Irish criminal law. And that's why the airlines have to be fined, and the people that are not doing their duty should be arrested. But the government is facilitating all this crime. So be aware of this, Irish people. Yes, well, it's like they're partaking in a crime. They have a right to exist. This is our country. They have a right to buy houses down Garda and bring up their family like everybody else. That's going to be important.
What we need as well is to be, as you said earlier on, about the protected races. The UN has a document about the protection of the indigenous rights of people. Now, can you imagine if we were 5.5 million people living in the Pacific, the rights that they would have as an ethnic group?
Yes.
We should come under the same heading because of our uniqueness as an ethnic race of people.
Yes.
So we should be protected. And maybe that is the way to go as well.
We're like the Maoris.
Yes.
We're indigenous. We're Aboriginal.
Yes, we are there. And my fear is that when you think that the Aborigines, when they welcomed Captain Cook, they didn't realise that they would end up minorities in their own country. And are we going to go the same way as the Native Americans did in their country?
I'm not being in the Lebanon.
I don't fancy living in a reservation in Ireland because I don't want to go. Yes.
I'm not being in the Lebanon protecting Palestinians.
Right.
And living on the West Bank after I retired.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, we have a right to exist the way the Jews have the right to exist.
Correct.
But we have the right to exist.
Yeah, of course we do.
This
Yes.
is our country. We have to be the majority. Because we're not the majority. Have a look at countries.
Well, look at that chap that was arrested during the week with 11 children. 11 children. How many people in Ireland can't afford to have children? I met a lady recently and she told me that she got a quote for creche and that was €2,000 for 2 children. Yes, 2,000 a month for 2 children.
We need to follow the model of Hungary.
Yes.
With Viktor Orban.
Correct.
What he's doing.
Correct.
He's given tax breaks and helping people, encouraging them to have kids. And the more kids they have, after 4 kids, he nearly writes off your
No
mortgage.
tax.
Look at in Ireland.
Yeah.
In Ireland they want you to be on 70 grand or 100 grand each, and they have to be 700 grand. So we're nurses, we're guards, we're teachers. They can't even afford to live in Dublin. But the likes of Mel, who lives in a castle here, owns 400 properties.
So where's the NGO to help returning Irish resettle in the country of their birth?
None.
To help
No such thing.
with car insurance,
Doesn't
accommodation, school. I had a friend of mine, when she moved back to Ireland with her children, she applied to 11 different schools to get her children each to get into a school, and each one of them charged her €300 and she got none of them back. None of it back.
Well, the insurance
How do you set up an
That's another
NGO?
scam.
Does anybody know how you set up an NGO?
Well, maybe
But the government won't fund you because they call you racist.
Well, we have to get it from external
Yeah, you can be from
money.
anywhere in the world you get right. It's
They
38,000.
won't give you any money.
5.5 billion of our taxes are
Do you
taken.
not get a big Irish, like, you know, or is there any of the businessmen that have...
Would Michael Flatley do it?
I know, but somebody that's not like a maker.
We're ready.
Yeah, I know.
We're ready.
Have you heard about the new initiatives that they're trying to bring into schools and into colleges, where they're trying to really boost up the Irish language and the Irish culture and the Irish?
Well, how can you do that with 2 million people in Ireland?
That is the thing. Like, so now they're giving out free classes for people that maybe are sick in hospital and they need to have access to free education.
But you look at the story during the
I'm
week.
just telling you ways that we could actually add to the
Right.
to the promotion of the things that you feel are
Yeah, there
missing
are
in the
people
country.
around the country. I was
So
at an
what I'm
event a few
doing is
weeks
I'm
ago.
learning Irish again.
Brilliant.
So Tom Albert, the Countess girl, I was talking to my daughter
Yeah, I'm
and
starting to.
Tangle. So tá lá na rangana leis na teangla na hairm agus is é cearcan or leis na daoine san tír. But so there's Irish language lessons going on now in the country for people if you want to boost up your language. There's apps on your phone.
Exactly, yeah, me and my granddaughter were
But we're going to be the minority in our
because
country.
that's gone out for too long, that video, sir. I'm a videographer, so I'd have
But
to
if you're
edit
going
on
to
that,
stand
yeah.
up for the Irish people, you need to be walking in the footsteps. And
Yeah, we
saying,
need
"Look,
to speak Irish.
We are walking, we're here today.
And that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
So
We need to get our
the word
language.
out there, please, and towards the Irish as well.
Yeah, we need to
Yes,
get back
we
our
need to get
language.
people
And
elected.
this is one of those lessons. That's why I'm saying.
We need to get people elected.
Yeah, well, Gavin is one of them.
And I'm running in the local
What's your
election.
name?
Michael Burke.
Michael Burke.
Yeah.
Remember you from the
Remember your
election.
name.
Yeah, I'm running in the election.
And who are you affiliated with?
that
Myself, independent.
You're
Is
going
that
to
local
run
elections,
independent.
is it?
Yes.
Sorry.
And when is the election?
Next June is the local election.
Next
And
year.
when's the big election?
And no, that's 2 years away. So all the different, I'll make an appeal now. All the different groups the front there around Dublin, please come together and select a candidate as an MEP, because that's on next June as well. And we can really have an impact if we get an MEP elected.
Yeah, so
And it's
local
doable,
elections and
because all the fake centres are on the north side, and that's where the huge constituency is.
You might ask me who you voted for in the last election.
I voted for myself.
Yeah. I wouldn't vote in the election.
Well done, Mick. Well spoken.
And I was a
That's not right. Hell party. Hell party. No, won't get it done again.
That's all. They're all.
Oh no, yeah, fair. But you can give them ready abuse at it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Huh?
Gavin, I think there's somebody in there, in that van.
Watching us, watching you, eh?
Yeah. Now at least he's speaks like that no
Came across an interesting one there during the week. Flight from Venice to Philadelphia was diverted into Dublin Airport the other day with a medical emergency on board, with a flight attendant unfortunately passing away. Her name was Carol Wright and she had 38 years experience. And in early June, a flight from Dublin taken off to Moldova. After 20 minutes into the flight, the pilot became incapacitated and the plane was diverted to Manchester and continue on later on that evening with a new crew. And last month, 4 pilots from Singapore Airlines died. 2 of them died suddenly and 2 from cancer. Now Singapore Airlines boasted that 95% of its attendants and crew had all taken the soup. I would hate to think there is a connection.